Let's move on to this. Hey, Flip the Script just said the Chinese did not sign a trade deal with Trump. It's crazy that you say that, Flip. Let's move on to that summit there with China's Xi Jinping, I believe. I say names wrong all the time. Check out the awkwardness of this meeting.
Mr. President, the President of the People's Republic of China.
Good to meet you. Great pleasure to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Yes. Me too.
And we're going to have a very successful meeting, I have no doubt. But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good. We know each other well.
Mr. President, do you plan to sign a trade deal today?
Could be. I think we'll have a great understanding. We have a great relationship. We've always had a great relationship.
Will you discuss Taiwan, sir?
Which way?
Looks like they're really close. We're really good friends. We have a great relationship. I feel like she was like leaning further and further away as that minute went by. He's like, can somebody get this stank sumbitch away from me? I don't know. I'm just speculating. So apparently there was a meeting that went down with them. Not apparently there was. Apparently it was over an hour and 40 minutes long where they spoke about all their differences, all these extreme tariffs, this tit for tat tariff trade war that Donald Trump started back in April on Liberation Day. So now they're discussing ways to end it, maybe come to some kind of agreement. So afterwards, after that, awkward meeting, Donald Trump was on his airplane headed back, and he had great things to say about himself.
Mr. President, I thought it was an amazing meeting. He's a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country, China. And what can I say? We have, it was an outstanding group of decisions, I think, that was made. A lot of decisions were made, too. There wasn't too much left out there. And we've come to conclusion on many very important points, and we'll be handing that to you in a little while. We're having, because there was a lot of different things, many of them very important. We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately, starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture.
Does that sound like he had anything out of that meeting? Does it sound like he's bullshitting you? I don't know. I wasn't in the meeting, so we don't know what all came of it or what may come of it afterwards. What I did hear was, yeah, man, we met on so many things. There was a lot of things. There was elements. There was even some talks. You know what? We discussed things. We discussed great things. They promised, things to buy soybeans at great high quantities, like immediately, starting right away. It's going to be a lot. Where are any specifics on what it was that was discussed? When we're talking about trade and we're talking about deals, usually there's details. Usually there's something that you just came out of that you're excited to tell people you just pulled off, because he was excited about what it is that he feels he just pulled off. I don't know if he pulled anything off because he didn't say anything specific about what it is that he says he pulled off. How about back to those investments? How about all this trade that's supposed to be happening? More to the same types of energy that we heard when he was talking about signing all of these trade deals, these 90 deals in 90 days. Here's more of this generic, very, very generic stuff that he's talking about that he accomplished during this meeting. See if you can find some more specifics here about the investments.
It was big. Every country, Japan, I mean, you look at South Korea, Japan, and so many other countries that we met there, they're investing tremendous amounts of money in the United States. Like money that we've never seen before.
Sir, are we investments from China in the U.S., additional investments, anything like a...
They have investments, and they will invest. And China, I think they feel very strongly. They congratulated me on the tremendous success that we've had, because there's never been a country that has had so much money come into it for purposes of investment, for building, for auto plants, for AI, etc. So he was very strong on congratulating me for that.
But he didn't commit to any additional investment or outflow.
We didn't really discuss it.
It was so big. When he got cornered with no more details because there was a bunch of folks around him asking him for details because they were probably actually looking for actual answers. They were probably a little bit excited because he got on the airplane, pumped his fist, and was like, got it, got it, got it. So when they started asking him, so what did you come up to? What kind of investments did you have? Once he got cornered with no answer on that, he got to talking about how Xi congratulated me. He said, he congratulated me on my tremendous success that I've had for purposes of investment. It's the types of money no one's ever seen before coming into this country. If there's a foreign country that's investing hundreds of millions of dollars, I mean $21 trillion, as he said, he's got investments coming into this country. Do you think that after they make those types of trade deals where they're looking to also benefit from that deal, you think they go, I'm gonna congratulate you, Mr. President, for for getting so much money out of me. That's the mindset that he thinks people are supposed to have when it comes to trade deals, that he's getting something out of someone else and they're not getting anything back. And they congratulated you for getting them. Oh my God, his lies have to be a little bit better than this. They have to be like, if anybody's actually waiting for answers as to what he's pulled off because they're so excited about it, shouldn't they be waiting for something that's specific that they should be excited about? Because all he said is, man, I'm tell you what, they congratulated me. They said I'm the best. Did you know that they said that I pulled off things that no one ever could pull off before? Here's more of his specifics. I want you to listen to the numbers that he tossed out here.
So many successful meetings, and so many meetings great for our country, with literally hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars have come into our country over the last 4 days, represented by this meeting. But trillions of dollars, where Toyota is going to build plants, $10 billion worth of plants, and I could go over so many different companies coming in. They're pouring money into the United States. So beyond even this meeting, this was an unbelievable trip, and I hope you're glad you were a part of it.
It's like I was going to say a game show host, but it's not even that good. He said, we've got millions, billions, trillions coming in. Literally hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars have come into the country over the past 4 days. Is it hundreds of billions or is it trillions? Those are big numbers. That's a big jump from hundreds of billions to trillions. How is it that you don't know how much money is coming in over the past 4 days if you just had an hour and 40-minute meeting with this guy who congratulated you on siphoning hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars out of him? I'm just letting you guys know why every time I hear this guy speak, I start from the place of he's lying to you. Not because, there's Trump derangement syndrome, but because he's always lying to you. So let's get to some details. So I said, let me read about what people who were maybe there and had some details of what it was that happened have to say, because there were some details. Beijing on Thursday paused export controls on rare earths, while Washington cut fentanyl-linked tariffs. That followed that high-stakes meeting between Trump and Xi. The Chinese export controls, which were announced on October 9th, will be delayed by 1 year, while the U.S. will similarly postpone the implementation of measures announced on September 29th that also blacklisted majority-owned subsidiaries of Chinese companies on the U.S. entity list. So remember those whole rare earths export controls that Donald Trump was so mad about, and he said he's putting on 150% tariffs. Who knows what number was? He doesn't know either. And then how he's going to slap all that because they're doing everything so unfairly. It was part of this escalating trade war that he started, so things got pretty much out of hand. So they promised to pull back on that, and then he promised to then keep tariffs at an extraordinary amount that Americans are paying more money for anything that's coming in. So loss for us. Here's more. It's over from the New York Times. It says, by flexing China's near monopoly on rare earths and its purchasing power over U.S. soybeans, Mr. Xi won key concessions from Washington: a reduction in tariffs, a suspension of port fees on Chinese ships, and the delay of U.S. export controls that would have barred more Chinese firms from accessing American technology. Both sides also agreed to extend a truce that was struck earlier this year to limit tariffs. We don't know what those numbers are, but he said they're around 47% now. 47%. That's the win. Here's more. Here's a quote. What's clear is they have become increasingly bold in exerting leverage, and they are happy to pocket any and all U.S. concessions. That's what Julian Gerwitz said. He's a senior policy official at the White House and and also the State Department in President Biden's administration. So maybe this guy's all biased. Maybe he's talking about how bad this was because he's such a Biden guy. Hey, here's more information though. Both sides should consider the bigger picture and focus on the long-term benefits of cooperation rather than falling into a vicious cycle of mutual retaliation. That's what President Xi said. By twists and turns, Mr. Xi was likely referring to the last several months, nearly a year, of these tit-for-tat retaliatory measures in the form of tariffs, sanctions, and export controls that both sides are pulling off now. Earlier this month, China then escalated that dramatically, as we were talking about with these rare earths that happened in that manner, which was started again in April when Donald Trump said he's putting 110% tariffs on everybody that doesn't do what I say. So I just want to remind you guys, we started with Donald Trump screwing things up. Prices have gone up. Trade wars have happened. Businesses have suffered. Exports and imports issues have been going on. Many folks have severed their ties with us, one of them being a northern partner in Canada. We don't know to what degree yet, but we do know that Prime Minister Carney said, forget these guys. And he's trying to move on and find other ways to deal. Now, in the meantime, Donald Trump feels like he has just fixed things that he has screwed up. But in reality, think of it this way. This is, again, my view of what I've seen this whole thing coming down to. He did this much damage. Say he did 100% damage. He goes to meet with these guys and he says, I have it down to 47% damage. But before he started the 100% of damage, we were around here. So he's got us here of damage. We've still got this much damage that this sumbitch that's put on so many different industries, so many different people, and the prices that he keeps saying have been paid for and will continue to be paid for by other folks. It's the problem with that is that jobs, your wallet, your bank account all disagree with his declarations because he wants to, as I've called him many times, the presentation president. This is what he feels he got. Mr. Trump pumped his fist in the air as he boarded on Air Force One, then said on the plane that Xi had agreed to take more action to stop the flow of chemicals used to make fentanyl from reaching the U.S. He also said that China promised to purchase more soybeans. Our farmers will be very happy, he said. And he posted that on Truth Social. I would like to thank President Xi for this. What's our measure of what kind of effect China has had on sending fentanyl here or having these chemicals that are used to make fentanyl from reaching the United States? Because when you come up with these outlandish declarations, which he has, and he's still doing like he's doing down in Venezuela, which I'm going to get to next, and talk about the boats that he's blowing up and all the drugs, the flow of drugs, the overflow of drugs that are coming into the country, and then no one has any kind of real, measure of what is that he's talking about. And then he meets with the guy, and the guy goes, yeah, all that huge flow of drugs that you keep talking about that you have no measurement for, we'll lower that. Yeah, we'll do some work to help you out with that. And he goes, thank you, man. He did so much. Look what he just did. If it's an artificial creation out of his brain, and then he says he's fixed it, and now he gave this guy some concessions on his made-up tariffs, what have we won? It started from a point of bullshit, but he's pumping his fist. I want to go to this guy that was on this panel, Max Boot. He was speaking again about what is it I was mentioning from the top when it comes to the way these trade deals happen and the validity and proof that something has been done. He said it so much better than me. Here he is.
I mean, these are very vague framework agreements, which is what he keeps announcing around the world. It's very hard to know to what extent they're actually enforceable or what the details are because he's not presenting any trade treaties for ratification by the Senate. Instead, he's making these grand pronouncements. For example, he claims that Japan and South Korea are going to invest hundreds of billions of dollars in the U.S., but they keep disagreeing over the details of how that's actually going to happen. So it's not clear what that actually translates into action. The one thing that is clear is that our average tariff level has gone from about 2.4% when Trump took over to about 18%. And it's true that foreign corporations and U.S. corporations are eating some of that cost for now, but some of it is also being passed on to American consumers, as the Fed chairman just said.
Similar to, like I said, with these deals that he said he signed 90 of, or they said they would sign 90 of in 90 days. Where's the details? Where's the actual, deal in front of you? It has to start somewhere, which started, like I said, from nonsense. And when it starts from that, what can you really quantify that he just got done? So I mean, I think enough of these folks who are affected by him, yes, it affects other countries because they're like, yo, normal trade is actually good for us. So in them trying to get back to some semblance of that, the thought is, okay, let's rub him on the chin, say he's getting somewhere, considering he started with nothing. Let's rub him on the chin and say, sure, we'll agree to stop doing that made up thing you said that's happening. And he goes, yes. Let me go home and tell everybody that I'm the best ever.